Hey, what's up, y'all? This is me, the King of Comebacks with two Ks at the end. This is Creating Greatness podcast. And in typical Creating Greatness style, we're going to get right to it. Solo show today. I have a lot of topics that were sort of backing up in my phone. And what happens is when I don't express them in good time, I lose the passion. I lose the real epiphany like aspect of it when it came to me. So I wanted to get it done, man. I've been having a lot of guests on lately, and I really appreciate all of them coming on. I appreciate all of you listening. I also want to just mention a quick apology for any technical difficulties that I may have experienced and unknowingly just been putting content out there, because I really have this desire to spread this message of love, peace, and joy and positivity. And going through some of the old episodes, making reels and what have you, I'm noticing some issues, and I truly apologize from the bottom of my heart. And I appreciate all of you bearing with me. I'm not the most technical individual, but I am committed to learning, growing, and getting better. As you see, I've got better lighting now. Now we're working on cameras and microphones and things of that nature. So bear with me. We're going to continue to push the message of peace, love, joy, positivity, tactical skills, and readiness and preparedness. We're going to continue to go in while these transitions are happening. But I just wanted to mention that, give you guys a thanks for listening in, give you guys a thanks for subscribing, liking, commenting, all these different things on social media. Apologize for the few little issues that we have, and we're working through them, and appreciate all of your support in the meantime. So I was going to do, and then I want to mention this as well. Now, for all you new subscribers, because we're getting a lot, and I do appreciate that as well. We're getting so close to some major, what's the word I'm looking for? Landmarks? No. Mile marks? Hey, you know what I mean. Major steps in this process of creating greatness, and we're really, really appreciative to everyone that's listening in. But I want to remind the folks that are new that so many mental health topics were discussed over the years, man. You know, as I was going through these things, or I was healing from these things, or I was learning ways to tweak my behavior in order to be more successful, to be a bigger benefit to my family. I went through it, man. I went over it. So from the time when I was doing 5-minute shows, 15-minute shows, till you see it went up to a half hour. Now, you know, we're closer to an hour, especially when I have a guest on. So dig in the crates, man. Get right with God, get right with yourself, and if creating can help you along the way, maybe there's things I've covered in the past that may be more relevant in your life now that were relevant in my life then, man. So please check it out. We were going to go with some Lean Six Sigma ideas that I have. You know, I'm very big advocate of Lean Six Sigma. I think that you could take that ideology into your daily life, and we were going to definitely go in that direction and talk about all the different things that we can transfer from the manufacturing and the production world into becoming more efficient within your life. But we're going to get into that stuff. But something's been burning in my phone and burning in my mind for a while, man. And the more that I see it, the more and more it bothers me. And it is an opinion, but it is an opinion cultivated over years and years of experience, intense awareness, paying attention, and a strong desire to learn and not make mistakes that I made again. I hear a lot of fellas now, whether it's in the gym or on social media, that have this idea: I won't get with a woman unless she's cooking, cleaning, take care of home. And in fact, I even see that they get some women to, and I don't know if this is their true feeling. If it is, great. Women posting on the same sites that I'm unfollowing slowly as I go through them. I cook, I clean, you know, there's still women out here like me. And hey, that's all well and good. I'm not judging that at all. In fact, it's awesome. It's awesome. If that's the dynamic that you have, if that's the dynamic that works for you. And then on the flip side of that, I hear a lot of women. I've heard this multiple times from friends, friends of friends, social media and TV, whatever, you know, any sort of diet that you're ingesting, viewing, hearing, whatever. He's got to make this amount of money, you know. He's got to be this tall. He's got to have this skin complexion. He's got to have this, all these things lined up. And I just get to thinking on both sides of the fence, you guys are missing the point. You're missing the point. The whole beauty and the whole thing is struggling together, building together, day in and day out, working with each other in every aspect of your lives, building your relationship, making it stronger, getting better at life, getting better at pleasing each other. You know, it's that beautiful dance that you're missing by setting all these unrealistic standards from the jump. And then you go through this building process with this human, and you know why they're there. They've been there from the rip. The loyalty is unmatched. And I just wanted to mention that moving into the next story that I want to discuss. But why do we have to set these standards for the people that we're looking for? You're excluding so many people. And when I finally fell in love, it shattered every possible idea that I could have in my mind about what I thought I was supposed to have. Love doesn't work that way. So don't set limits. It's not settling. It's not compromising your standards. Now, when you're talking about ethics, character, morals, then we need to be setting standards. The way that people treat you, the way that people make you feel, those standards need to be highly elevated. But people will compromise those standards that I've just spoke of if there's money involved or if there's beauty involved. And if the ultimate point is to be happy or be loved, truly loved, you're missing it. You're missing it. And you will continue to miss it with that thought process. Let it go. Shatter all your beliefs, your preconceptions, your judgments about the one that you think you will love or eventually be with, eventually have children with. And I do mention this because I think it's important, because family is the foundation. It's the foundation that they're trying to shatter in the world, because it's the strongest structure. It's how empires are built. It's how amazing companies are built. It's how a lot of amazing, monumental things are achieved. It starts with a foundation family. Even if it's just one of the children growing up to do something amazing, it's because they were raised in an environment that was conducive to that happening. And without those families, whether the family together started a family band, a family business, or if one member of that family goes on to greatness, maybe some just have other families and they're great within their families. Maybe one goes on to change the world. The whole point is that none of that is ever going to happen if the man and the woman are continually knocking each other down. With you have to be like this, you have to be like that. Let's not be like that to our fellow human beings, because when we're like that, it starts a degradation of the species. Men and women are not getting along anymore. Men and women are not starting amazing families and producing harmonious, conducive environments for children to thrive. And it's been said so many times, children are our future, children are our future. So let's prioritize and recognize the importance of that. And then once you move into that space, you find the one you're supposed to be with forever. And they don't look like anything that you ever thought. And you're happy, you're content, because you've built together. You've struggled together. You've learned how to love each other. And you've created this solid foundation for your children. And your children will thrive and go on to do great things and go on to be great people. And as you get older in the years, someone's got your back. Someone's got your back. You didn't buy your way in. You didn't step in when someone was already established. Moving on. Because it relates. I watched a lot of, not all of it. It was a very long interview, an hour and some change maybe. Andrew Tate and George Janko. And I'm a Andrew Tate fan. I did not know who George Janko was when I watched this video, but I very quickly became a George Janko fan as well. Not because he's a Christian man, although it gave me things to relate to, not because he's a Christian, but because he's a man of God. And as I follow Andrew Tate, and I really appreciate how listening to him helps me be better at being a father and working out and making money. There's always gaps that I've noticed that didn't align. And that's fine. He's a human being like we all are. Just because you're set out to be a role model for some folks doesn't mean that you do not have flaws. For one, they wear Crocs, all of them. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. And the worst part about it is they actually think it's cool. But beyond that, his views on women, I've never agreed with any of it. In fact, some of it comes off to be very immature, in my opinion, which is odd from a person who, in my view, is very mature, obviously successful, driven, focused, morally righteous. But that's me. That's my opinion, and that's what I saw. But it didn't make me not follow him. I'm still a member of the real world. I still work on the classes of cryptocurrency and content creation daily. But it's just something that I noticed. So then here comes George Janko, obviously respected by Tate. I think the respect was mutual. It was pretty obvious to see that. So if you haven't watched the podcast interview, I think it's on George Janko's page on YouTube. But yeah, wonderful interview. And like I said, I didn't listen to the whole thing in its entirety, but I did listen to quite a bit of it. And one of the very most interesting parts of that interview to me, or conversation, however you want to call it, was where they were discussing polygamy or monogamy, which is the true right thing to do. What is the truest, rightest way to proceed in that relationship? Obviously, Andrew Tate's a Muslim. He believes he has the right, God-given right. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not intellectually educated on the Muslim faith, although I did read a little bit of the Quran when I was going through my struggles and seeking and searching. I don't exactly know, but obviously he believes that multiple wives is okay. And while George Janko believes that that is not the proper way to conduct yourself. And to watch them respectfully back this topic back and forth, it really was a masterful display of a conversation. And then also the ability to remain open to the other person's point of view while still standing the ground in what you believed in a very respectful and enlightening way. So I very much appreciate it. Once again, check it out. But so here's my my play on it. Part of Tate's point was that if a man was forced, if this is the way you're viewing it, to have one wife because of your culture or your religion or whatever, that at some point he's going to stray, maybe not in the body with actual physical contact, but with thought, and then maybe pornography and things of this nature. So that his point was, are you ever truly loyal to that one person? I don't have much thoughts on that, but I do have, well, I do, but what I want to focus on is, in my opinion, that's sort of an excuse. I think that we are all born with primal urges, not just men, women as well. Some of them deal with reproduction, lustful behavior, lustful thoughts. We all have lustful urges, or did have lustful urges as we were going through that period of our life. And some of us never seem to gain control of it. We also have primal urges to eat and to drink and to sleep to some extent. And all of these have to be mastered. It's part of the road to self-mastery for us to learn ourselves, learn what the best possible way is to maneuver in the world, how to effectively manage our lives, our thoughts, our feelings, and proceed the best possible course. Part of that is mastering those primal urges, because that was the mentality. This is all opinion. This is all opinion now. The caveman mentality, me and Tony talked about it yesterday. I'll put that episode out after this one, so keep your eye out. Talked about a lot of good stuff. We were talking about a simple life of the Neanderthal and how your whole purpose revolved around staying alive, protecting your family, finding food. And within that simpleness, that's the correct word, there was peace. There's beauty in that. But within that peace, there's also these primal urges that are keeping you doing those things because it's deep within you. Now, we don't have to go to the stream for water every day, most of us. We don't have to hunt down a deer to feed. We don't have to continually travel to follow food sources and escape weather and all these different things, violent other clans, and who knows. It's all hypothetical. So in my opinion, we must now evolve our base desires with our present existence. So for me, the mastering of those elements, I'm still working on the food, man. I mean, I'm getting much, much better. Wrapped up pretty good around sleep, getting eight hours, roughly 6 to 8 hours a night. So I'm still working on the food. But when I mastered the lustful aspect of it, it was a game changer for me, man. Because his statement, not his statement, I don't want to say that. His idea, in my opinion, from my perspective, was, well, you're going to have all these feelings and you're going to not really be loyal because of all of that. Well, in my opinion, that denies his whole philosophy, because we have to walk the road of discipline, of masterful behavior, stoic calmness, master of our emotions. So lust, give or take, or it's arguable, whatever you want to call it, but it's a kind of emotion. It's an energy within you. It must too be mastered. In fact, in my opinion, and I've talked about this on my sexual health episode, was that when you master it, you can then shape it to your will, to where now you're becoming a more powerful partner with your person. And that whole thing gets way better because you don't have this excess of energy going in different directions. You're solely focused on the purpose. And without all those other distractions, you're able to focus so much more on what you actually want to do in your life. Because what do you actually want to do in your life? Do you just want to fornicate a lot with a lot of different people? Is that a high and mighty and righteous purpose? Or forget holy and mighty and righteous. Is it a fulfilling one? Sure, it's fun when you're young, if that's what you're into, as long as it's protected and it's consensual. But moving through life, those people are the ones at the end of their life that are lonely and miserable. Not all of them, and I'm generalizing. But a lot, you've heard it said many, many times, I've had this many partners and it was great, but now I'm left alone. And then we can move on beyond that to call me a hopeless romantic, man. What about true love? What about your soulmate? What about the person that this universe conspired to put with you together? And what if she was one of your wives and you had other wives? And although she may accept it culturally, religiously, what have you, she does her part, she plays her role. But do you ever really have her? Do you ever really have her heart? Does she ever truly, fully let her guard down and open herself up to you in all her magnificence? Or is she still a little bit, even if it's 10%, 5%, 1%? Because if I want you, I want all of you. I want everything that comes with you, the good, the bad, and the in between. I don't want that guard. I don't want that mistrust that there's something. I truly believe this, that a woman is not going to truly open herself up to you, mind, heart, body, and soul, if she knows there's other women involved. I just don't. So once again, this is all my opinion. But to have multiple wives, maybe some view that as like having your cake and eating it too. You can't always do that in the world, but sometimes you can, in my opinion. Once again, you can in this same circumstance, because if you follow the road of monogamy, you're going to have your cake, but instead of eating it too all over town, you're going to have that same benefit right there in your home, because you're going to have your partners all. You're going to have everything that they are, man. And they are going to love you in a way that exceeds the way that a person could love you knowing there's other folks involved. So that's that joy, that's that peace, that's that love, that's that loyalty, man. That's that I have someone to go through this earth with that has my back no matter what. That loyalty, that love, man, because you giving them your all, your everything. Someone you can trust with your life. Someone you can trust with your children, with your bank account, and really have no worries. Because if you have to trust someone with those things, there's so much else going on that wants to be your last thought. Okay, well, that's covered. Let me just focus on whatever the emergency is at hand. And that's my take on it. That's the drop, man. That's the drop on women from someone that's been through all of this and came up with those conclusions, man. But hey, let's get on to some tactical, day in and day out, things that are going to make you better. So number one is a pretty simple idea. And I never mentioned it. I never wrote it down in a notebook. I never did a reel about it. Never even mentioned it, because I thought it was very simple and very common sense. But not to be dismissive of anyone's intelligence. It may just not be something that you thought about because you didn't work in the production industry like myself. And it's working downhill. Working downhill, man. What this means is putting your biggest, most difficult tasks at the very beginning of your day. And for me, it's working out, because it's one of the things that I don't like doing. Despite some people, I like working out, I like being in the gym. There's times if I'm in a different gym that has different equipment, something new, or like punching the heavy bag, which I don't have right now, but I do enjoy that. Like there's certain aspects of it. But as far as day in, day out, getting up, making sure I'm doing this certain amount of working out that I feel accomplished this day, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I put it in the beginning. Along with the cold shower. Cold shower is the first thing I do, because I hate it. I absolutely hate it, but I know it's a game changer. You know, I know the breath work's a game changer. I do that right after the cold shower. I know the meditation's a game changer. I do that right after the breath work. And then, yeah, we do some breakfast with the kids, and then I'm outside getting my sunlight and the workout at the same time. So I do that all first. That way it's done. 10 a.m., 11 a.m., I'm done all of that. And now I'm starting to taper down the level of effort that I'm going to need to do the tasks that I need coming up. And then what I'll do is, after the workout, a break, a meal, a breath, whatever, and then I'll put my most challenging mental acts. Whether I got to make a video, I got to do a podcast, I want to do some work in my class in the real world, I put that next. And that way, by like lunchtime, I'm really pretty much done, like everything that I have on my to-do list. And then after lunch, I'm just coasting. In fact, I like to set it up, and it doesn't always happen like this. After lunch, like everything's extra credit. The to-do list is done, and now I'm just racking up extra credit. Whatever I'm doing, you know, whether it be with the podcast or with the kids or with the house, it's extra. Things that I didn't even plan on getting done. And that way, on my days, I'm not so firing on all pistons or, really, really feeling good, I can really taper off the activity after lunch and just keep it moving. So working downhill, it's a very effective plan to have, especially on your difficult days. Go through what you have to do in a day, man. All right, I did this, that, and the third tomorrow, because first of all, making that list is going to increase the probability that it's actually going to get done. So making that list and then prioritizing and then organizing, putting the most difficult thing in the beginning, and then so that way you're working downhill. It's more streamlined. It's more with the river, not against the river sort of workflow. Helps you get into the flow that way. Let me just fix this if I can. So, excuse me. Effective in every aspect. That's something else that is a very broad statement, right? And shout out to Alpha Affirmations on YouTube. Love the page. Motivates me and inspires me every day when I listen to them at night and in the morning. At one point in one of the affirmations, he says, I am effective in every aspect of my life. And I just thought, wow, man, how powerful is that? If you were effective in every aspect of your life. How difficult does that sound? Very. But what we can take from the statement, for me, I take it like, okay, yeah, I want to strive for that. Well, it's a lot harder than it sounds. So to take it back, to scale it back, I'll say, okay, where could I put in a little more effort? What's not up to par in my household, in my life, in my thoughts, in my behaviors, in my actions? So this is that filter that we can run certain statements through. Effective in every aspect. Wow, that sounds great. How could I pull that off? It's too big. I don't want to tackle that right now. Okay, let's scale it back. Where can I do more? What is slack in my life? Where have I missed a few opportunities in what aspect of my life? And then focus your work there. And then it's sort of like the, if you hear audio and the sound is, moving and popping up like this, that's sort of the chaos of life. And you're, okay, boop, 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 knocking this down. I'm working harder here. Now I'm pushing that. And then, making that order out of the chaos. So that's something that I think is very important. And then imagine the person that you could be if you became effective in every aspect. I mean, you're like a superhuman, because let's be real here. A lot of folks aren't winning, and I don't even mean rich, whatever, and all that, I just mean happy. A lot of folks ain't happy. You ask somebody how they're doing at the store, you might get a half-hour-long story about how their life is awful. And I just pray for these folks, man, because, a lot of it's self-inflicted. Let's be fair. We've all experienced adversity. Some of us experience trauma, tragedy, loss. And it's valid. There's something to be said about it. It's a transitionary state that us as human beings have to figure out and move through. But ultimately, your life is your responsibility. So if you're every day at the cash register, someone asks you how you're doing, and it's you, man. It's you. It's you. And you need to open up your mind to the possibility that you may be wrong about life. If you're not happy, then it's pretty obvious. That's the road I went down. I'm not throwing shots. I'm being direct because I love you. This is what tough love is, man, because I know you're better than that. And I can't always talk to these people like that, but I can talk to you here on Creating Greatness about this. If you're not feeling happy, man, chances are it's your fault. And sometimes it's so difficult to dig yourself out of that hole, where you're depressed, you're anxious, you're upset. But when you start to make small, simple changes day in and day out, one thing, man, eat one less piece of junk food. Do one push-up. Do one series of breaths, 2 to 5 deep breaths. Do one 1-minute meditation. Do one kind thing for someone. Do one kind thing for yourself, man. And I don't mean drugging, drinking, going out, spending money. I mean some sort of self-care. I just got out of the tub, man. I love it. Detox tub with the bentonite clay and Epsom salt. Yeah, man. I ain't ashamed to admit it. Because I got to take care of me. Because if I don't take care of me, who's going to take care of this? You understand what I'm saying? So if you're not able to take care of you, how do you expect to create something bigger, something better? We have to get our houses in order. Must not cast stones when we live in a glass house. So let's go. Let's get to work, y'all. Let's get to work. Root cause, man. Another Lean Six Sigma ideology, root cause. And this is where, this conversation that we're having can go right into this. And I'll tell a quick story, but a lot of us will get on the road to self-improvement. We'll start doing a couple things. We'll start picking up a couple practices. We'll start making a couple dollars. We'll start getting out there in the world and things start happening. But eventually, it won't work. It won't work. Something will go wrong and we'll just say F it. Like I said, the most dangerous space to be, state of mind, is that F it mode. Because when you say F it, sometimes, but this is where discernment comes in. Meditation can go a long way to help you with this. Sometimes you do have to say F it because every battle ain't worth fighting. And when you get strong, healthy, prosperous, you'll start using your time and energy as your currency. And some battles don't warrant that. They're just not big enough. They're just not for you. So don't get in that effort mode because dangerous things can happen. I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to just go out with this one. I'm going to do that drug. I'm going to go blow my paycheck at the club or shopping or whatever. Nonsense. But the reason being is because we never addressed the root cause of all of our problems, man. And once again, most of all of our problems is already us. It's already within us, just like everything that's going to save us. Everything that's hurting us and everything that is anything that will save us, that will get rid of all the things that are hurting us, that is also within us as well. So we have to address it, and we have to address it within ourselves. And the only way to do that is through separation, detox from foods, beverages, stimulation, social media, toxic people that don't want what's best for you, people that really don't have your best interests at heart. Get rid of them, even if it's for temporary, because that way you can get that separation and gain the clarity that you need. Get that separation, get that detox. Pray. It doesn't matter who you pray to. Pray, even if it is the practice of getting the things that are deep within your soul that are holding you back and put them out there into the universe. It's a powerful, powerful process. Mix that in with a little breath, a little yoga. Maybe you do a little cold shower. Definitely get outside and get your sun. Put your bare put your bare feet in the grass. Touch the earth. Spend time with the nature and the animals. Get back to you. With that, things will become so clear to you. So clear that you'll be mad at yourself for not seeing what was right in front of your face, but that's okay. You're here now. You're doing the work. And when you experience that clarity, you have found the root cause of all your problems and you can begin to work on them. Therefore, when you go back out into the world after you've had your separation, after you've had your detox time, after you had your get right with me time, and you go back out into the world and you start achieving some success, it'll be sustaining because you dealt with the issues, man. I always talk about a problem that I had. Well, I talk about it frequently and I'm still dealing with it, but it's so much better, y'all. I'm finding out that it's my gallbladder, but for so long I had stomach issues, but I kept pounding them energy drinks because I just didn't know. I didn't put two and two together. Went to the doctor. She gave me a medication. So I took this medication and it immediately worked. But about 3 months in, 2 months and a half in, I just didn't care anymore. I didn't want to be one of these people that were on a medication, dependent upon a medication. I had done it so many years through recreational drugs where I was just totally dependent upon something just to get out of bed. Where that I didn't want that. I mean, it wasn't that severe here, but I had to take this pill every day so that my stomach wasn't in pain. So pretty soon I just stopped taking it and I was dealing with the pain. But here goes the thing: as I'm dealing with the pain, once again, pain as a lesson. It could be literal or something else out there in the world: emotional pain, spiritual pain, financial pain. It's all going to teach you a lesson if you pay attention. So as I'm experiencing this pain, I'm dealing with this pain, I'm not willing to go back to the doctor because I know they're just going to put some sort of medication on me. I'm experimenting with my diet. Experimenting. Could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? Could it be that? Over time, and it's been tough, man, because most of the things that it doesn't like are the things that I love. Caffeine, maca root, any sort of stimulant that's not caffeine, ginseng, all these different things. It doesn't like any of it. I've gotten to where it will accept a little bit of caffeine in the morning with my lion's mane mushroom, which I definitely suggest for people. It's definitely a game changer as well. And I just stick it to that. And it does also allow me. I'm saying this about my body. It allows me to, because that's where I'm at, man. Because now I don't want to deal with that. But my point is, had I continued to take that medication, I never would have found out what was wrong. I would have just kept slugging energy drinks. And then 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, I'd be dead. I'd be dead, or I'd be in the hospital, or they would have to rip my gallbladder out, whatever. And they could say that's fine, all that. But I don't think that's fine. And I don't think that's okay. And I don't want to live my life that way. So find the root cause of your problems and don't mask. It's something that the medical industry will do now, although the things that they give you will also cause all other sorts of problems that you'll then have to go back and get stuff for that as well. But that's a whole other podcast. Don't mask your problems. Don't hide from them. Face them head on, learn from them, deal with them. Because ultimately, it's sacrifice in the interim. Yeah, I could take that medication and do what I want to do, drink the energy drinks, right? But then 5, 6, 7 years down the line, look what I'm facing. Where now, if I face the pain now, I dealt with it now, I'm learning my body, I'm learning myself, step over step, moment after moment, day after day. Now I'm tailoring my diet to exactly what my body will deal with and effectively process. It's not always fun. It's not always the best tasting things. But that sacrifice enables me to be doing this right now, to be thriving, to be winning. And I'm willing to make that sacrifice any day of the week. Waste, another Lean Six Sigma ideology, waste. It's all about waste. That's all they talk about in there. Don't waste it, don't waste that. And what they're talking about is any resource that you have. Now, in the production field, our resources are, products, people, all sorts of things. But in our lives, our resources is everything and anything that we use to create our lives. And one of the main things that we waste is time. And as you start to increase the amount of money you're making and you're reaching different tax brackets and new echelons, you see that these folks up here, well, I ain't at the top yet, but you start seeing that they use their time as currency. Their money's it's not even real to them. Their time is their currency because their time is how they make all that money. And I spoke about it before, and I'll speak about it again. I joined the real world, Andrew Tate, Top G, online university, and I'm learning a lot. I haven't learned quite a lot yet, but I've learned enough to make the investment worth it of $50 a month. And now I'm starting to reach the point where, okay, I know all that stuff, but that's about all I know. So let's see where we're going to go, in the next 3 to 6 months, and I'll keep you guys updated. But the first thing I did on there was the Positive Masculinity Challenge. And I've spoken about it before, working out every day. And I quit all this stuff a while ago, but I think it's important for the Positive Masculinity Challenge within the online community because it's a lot of young fellas. It's no porn, no masturbation, working out every day, certain specific goals that must be accomplished every day. And as I did this, man, I really was hitting my breaking point on certain days of the week where I was just used to taking days off. And, I was just getting tired, but I just pushed through. I pushed through a podcast. I pushed through a workout. And what I started realizing was I was getting so much more done. So I started doing a little math. And I go, well, you take 1 day off a week where you eat excessively, watch TV, don't work out, you don't work on the podcast. It's 4 days a month. It's 46 days a year. So now we're talking about almost 50 days a year. And then you just start going and doing the math from there. It's like every year I'm wasting 50 days and I live how long? Okay, now we're getting into the areas of math that I don't want to transverse. But you get what I'm saying. And I go, man, you're wasting all that time, 50 days a year. Stop doing that. And then I thought about at the warehouse, how I saved the company millions of dollars by shaving seconds off of processes. But when these processes are done day in and day out, hundreds, thousands, millions of times, those seconds add up to minutes, minutes add up to hours, hours add up to days, and days equate to millions of dollars at the end of the year or at the end of our lifetime. So look at your life, really, truly, with brutal honesty. Understand God's gift to life. Understand how precious this thing is. Understand our mortality, that it's not forever. And then think about, what do you actually want to accomplish? Who do you want to be? What do you want to create in this world? And are you working on that in this present moment? Sure, there are other things that need to be done. But even doing them things, you're working towards your ultimate goal, because this is one of my things. It doesn't matter if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing as long as you're doing, because those things have to get done anyway. So it's like when me and my wife were moving all around the country and happened to move out of Airbnb like every 3 months. It was a huge process, a huge project. We might get the project management, but we run about close to the hour, so we might pick that up next week. But it was project management. This is this huge undertaking. 3 children, a whole lot of stuff, 3 adults, 1 van. Now I got a truck, but before I had the van. We got to be out of the Airbnb on this day. We got to be on the road for this long. We got to be on this place the next day. Sometimes it would be so overwhelming. So overwhelming that I had to break it down into very small, minute pieces. And then even then, I may go, what should I do next? What is a priority? But what I would ended up realizing is that even if I was just taking care of one tiny little corner of one room, and I was packing and organizing and cleaning that one little area, it was knocking off the checklist. That still had to be done. Whether it was the most important thing to be done at that moment, I couldn't say in that moment. I was just trying to get it done, man. And sometimes that perseverance, that energy, that attitude, attitude, man. Sometimes the attitude comes into play, man. I'm gonna get this done. You don't have, it takes a little less brain power, man, is what I'm saying. Like, you just get to work, because this has to be done too. So what I mean by that is, in your life, insert what you're talking about, whether it be some mundane task at the house, some mundane task at the job, something that you're not truly excited to be doing. Understand that if it has to be done, you might as well do it. And if it has to be done and you might as well do it, you might as well do it well, because if you do it well, it'll bleed through into other things and you'll do other things well. Not to mention, you'll knock that off the list, and it'll free up time, the real currency, the real thing that we need to conserve, our most precious resource. It'll free up the time to do what you actually want to do. And then run that other filter of, okay, now that I've created this free time by doing all of these other things in the best possible fashion I could do them, and things look great, things look fabulous, man. And now I have this great opportunity to do what I want to do. Don't sit back and play a video game, man. Don't go out and chase some nonsense. Don't catch up on a TV show. Don't go overindulge. Eat yourself something healthy, man. And focus on what you truly want to be and what you want to create in this world. Who you want to be and what you want to create in this world. Even if it's just thinking about it. Even if the free time that you created is just to think about it. Because we need to think as well to create, to manifest within our physical world. But thinking isn't just floating, letting thoughts just flow through your brain, because that may not even be you. In fact, if you associated with all those thoughts, your life might not be so well. We all, I don't want to overgeneralize there. A lot of us have destructive thoughts. A lot of us have negative thoughts. A lot of us have judgments, preconceptions, and all different things that jade true reality. And it's what creates our perspective as averse to someone else's. That's why the truth is sometimes hard to tell, because people see things in different angles. So do what needs to be done. Do it well. Create that space. Don't float all over the place with your thought. The free time that you've created, focus the thought, direct the thought. You consciously, not floating. And we move on. 5S, we're going to do that one real quick, and then we'll end with continuous improvement. You know that's my favorite. Because I think we pretty much did project management. It was looking at the huge scope, breaking it down, little tiny little steps, organizing, prioritizing. But then if that fails, just one step at a time, whether it's out of order or not, because everything that needs to be done has to get done, and it should get done well to create that gap that you need to pursue your dreams. 5S, I actually forget the 5 S's. They originate with Japanese words, but they were translated. But what it really means is everything has its place. And like we just talked about, luckily you can't see my workspace here, my desk. In fact, you got to get on this, Robert. This is a little bit crazy, but we all work. Organization. Everything has its space, and it doesn't mean just physical things, although this is very beneficial. If everything in your home is clean and organized and where it's supposed to be, then everything flows a little bit more effortlessly. Sure, some of us are able to thrive in chaos, like my wife. That's why she's a nurse, and God bless her. But even the people that could do that, imagine how much better you would be if things were exactly where they needed to be so that it fit in your life. And then also we could take it from the physical into just the mental. Everything has its place within your mind and body as well. So when you're thinking about all these different things, put them where they need to be. Some of it's drama, some of it's nonsense. It needs to be thrown right out. Some of it needs to be at the forefront of your brain. Other things need to be, okay, this is what I want to do if I free up that time. This is what I want to do when I get to this level. So that's over here. So it's sort of just compartmentalizing things within your brain, so to put everything in its place, unless it's nonsense. If it doesn't serve your highest possible purpose, if it doesn't benefit you and everyone around you, then kick it out. And the rest you compartmentalize. And then your physical realm, if you can, to the best of your ability, put everything in a set space. Even they go to the lengths of marking it down on labels and certain bins and all that, with labels and for everything to go. Everything has its place, and this is the way that works. But also do that within your mind. And then lastly, man, hey, we've been going in for almost an hour, man. Thank y'all. The people that's sticking with me. I know I can get to going. Please feel this energy, man, that I'm giving you. I'm transferring this energy to you. I want to give it to you. I want to see y'all shine. I want to see y'all win. I want to see y'all do so many amazing things in your life beyond doing. I'm one of those folks. I'm going to do great things. I'm going to continue to pursue my dreams, and you're going to see it conceptualize, or that's not the word. It'll manifest itself through this podcast. You'll see, because we're going to be here talking about it, how I'm doing it, and how you're doing it. Creating Greatness Podcast at Gmail. But continuous improvement is the last thing I'm going to talk about. And it really is just the level of your act does not matter. It doesn't matter. I oftentimes say that I want my message to reach, I wanted to reach the slums, man. I wanted to reach the back alleys, the crackheads, prostitutes, and the IV drug users, and the robbers, and the thieves, and people that are sick and suffering, man. Or the people that got money, they got a house, but they can't even get themselves out of bed every day. They're numbing themselves with wine, or, smoking cigarettes, over shopping, addicted to technology. They're gossiping. They're toxic with their friends. They're not happy. They're miserable. I want to reach my veterans, man. People that are going through mental frustrations, mental suffering. People that are on the edge, on the brink. People that don't know what life's about. People that might not want to go on. I'm here for you, man. And I'm telling you, there's light at the end of that tunnel. I'm living proof. But it's easier to reach those folks sometimes because they know that they need help. So continuous improvement can absolutely start from rock bottom. That's where I started, man. In fact, rock bottom is fertile soil for growth. Unfortunately, that is the way of the world. So if you're at your rock bottom or you just came off it, have hope, man. Be happy because you've seen the lowest that you're willing to possibly go. I'm not experiencing anything lower than that. This is it for me. Everybody's rock bottom is different. There's only up to go. Use that dark space. Use that fertile soil to grow into the beautiful being that you absolutely are, man. But don't disregard the message of where can I go if you're achieving success in your life. If you're middle ground, you make a couple $100,000 a year, maybe you're a small business. Because I've seen these people that are very financially well, but they're spiritually dead. And I pray for them because I just think all that money and all these fancy things are not going to save you if crisis hit. And I don't even mean like heaven or hell. Like you create that within your own world. But I mean, if that all gets taken away, where are you going to be? And I'm not wishing that on no one. I'm just saying if there was any crisis that we all may experience within this life, if you don't have that solid foundation of spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, then all of that can crumble to dust. But if you have that strength, that perseverance, that discipline, you could have all those things or you could not have none of it. Your peace and happiness going to be the same. Now, don't get me wrong. If you go through something like that, you will experience lows and doubts and in certain moments with the universe or God where you're just trying to figure things out. But ultimately, you will be fine because you built that solid foundation of wellness, spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, health, man, health. That's another thing. I see people that are making so much money, but they're 350 pounds or they're eating GMO food all the time and, bringing cupcakes and sodas to the athletics that I have my children there. We don't put that poison in our bodies, man, especially when we're out here trying to get right with our physical self. So look at your life, man. You may be a millionaire, but where can you improve? And I'm not saying this to throw shots. I'm saying this because I know you can be better. If you're a millionaire with no nutrition, no exercise, no spiritual soundness, man, imagine what you could do if you became efficient in all aspects of life. So imagine what y'all could do if y'all became efficient in all aspects of life, or even paid attention to where you could put in some work and do better. Thank y'all for listening in. My name is Robert Prash, the King of Comebacks with 2 Ks on all social media platforms. Make sure you check me out, like, share, subscribe to content, give me a rating and a follow on Spotify if you like it. I don't ask anybody to do nothing unless it is genuine. And I promise to y'all, I'm always going to be genuine to you. God bless.